All right, let's talk about the SaaS marketing funnel. For a lot of us, it can seriously feel like a black box, right? You pour time, money, and tons of content in one end, but what actually drives growth on the other side can feel like a total mystery. Well, today, we're going to pry that box open and map out a clear path from that very first click all the way to a customer becoming a true brand fan. And this is the question that keeps us up at night. You see the signs, people are interested, they're clicking around, but somewhere between, ooh, this is cool, and actually signing up, they just vanish. It's got to be one of the most frustrating things we deal with, and it's a giant red flag that something, somewhere in your funnel, is broken. So, here's our game plan. First, we'll unpack that whole black box problem. Then we'll get into why old-school marketing models just don't cut it for SaaS. After that, we'll walk through the 5 modern stages of a real SaaS funnel, pinpoint the common places it breaks down, and finally, rebuild the whole thing around a customer-first mindset.
Okay, let's start with that core feeling of, just not knowing. Your team is pushing out campaigns, you're getting clicks, but trying to draw a straight line from that activity to actual revenue, it feels like guesswork. That's the funnel black box in a nutshell.
And this is what that feels like day to day. You see leads popping up, you see traffic numbers going up, but you can't really say for sure which blog post, which ad, or which email is the thing that actually gets someone to take the next step. Without that clarity, how can you possibly know where to spend your budget or your team's precious time? You can't. Now, to really fix this, we have to get one thing straight. The SaaS business model completely rewrites the rules of marketing. What works for selling a pair of shoes or a one-time service, yeah, that's not going to work here. And here is the absolute key difference. A traditional funnel is a sprint. The goal is a single sale, and once the credit card is swiped, marketing's job is pretty much done. But in SaaS, that moment someone converts, that's not the finish line. That's the starting gun for a long-term relationship. The real work is just beginning. This quote from Cognizant's CMO, Alice DeCourcy, just nails it. It's not about a marketing team and a sales team anymore. It's about a revenue team. Everyone, marketing, sales, product, customer success, is in it together. A leaky funnel isn't just a marketing problem, it's a whole business problem.
So if the old model is busted, what does the new one actually look like? Well, let's break down the anatomy of a healthy, modern SaaS funnel into 5 key stages.
Here we go. First, acquisition. That's all about attracting the right kind of people. Then, activation. This is where you guide them to their aha moment, and fast. Third is retention, keeping them engaged and showing them value over and over. Fourth, revenue, turning that happy engagement into a business. And finally, referral. This is where your customers become your best marketers.
Okay, we've got the blueprint. Now it's time to put on our mechanic hats, look under the hood, and figure out where this engine is sputtering out. Let's diagnose the most common funnel failures.
This is probably the biggest mistake of them all. We imagine customers moving neatly from step A to B to C, but in reality, people don't work like that. They bounce around. They'll read a blog, disappear for a month, see an ad, then jump right to your pricing page. A rigid, linear funnel just completely misses how real humans behave.
The MQL. It's so easy to count, but it's often just a vanity metric. When you focus only on the number of people who downloaded an ebook, you create this huge gap between marketing and sales. Marketing is celebrating a high score, while sales is frustrated because nobody they call is actually ready to buy.
And this ties right into the MQL problem. If your whole content plan is just to pump out generic articles to get downloads, you're missing the point. As Alice DeCourcy says here, that kind of regurgitated content doesn't just fail to add value. It actively pushes away the smart, discerning buyers you actually want.
And a list of potential problems just keeps going. Think about it. Sending the same generic message to everyone. Creating content that doesn't match what the user is actually trying to do. Having a great top of funnel but no clear plan to help people make a final decision. And maybe the biggest sin of all, completely forgetting about your customers the second their payment goes through.
So how do we fix all this? The solution is a massive but simple shift in perspective. You have to stop building a funnel designed to serve your internal process. Instead, you need to build one that is obsessed with solving your customers' pain at every single stage.
So let's put this into practice. At the acquisition stage, your future customer is not typing your brand name into Google. They don't know you exist. They are typing their problem into Google. They have a pain, and they're just looking for an answer, not a product pitch.
So your job here is simple.
Figure out the exact words and phrases your audience uses to talk about their problem. Then, create genuinely helpful content that answers their questions. And please, don't ask for a demo on the first date. Offer a next step that matches their low-commitment stage, like subscribing to a newsletter.
Okay, success. They've signed up for a trial. But now they're standing in a new, unfamiliar place, thinking, okay, now what? This is such a critical moment. If you don't guide them, they're going to get overwhelmed, log out, and probably never come back.
Your mission here is to be their tour guide. Show them the way to that aha moment as fast as humanly possible. Use great onboarding flows, send them helpful videos showing a specific use case, and sprinkle in some social proof to let them know they're on the right track. Make the value impossible to miss.
Now we're in it for the long haul. Retention. The customer is using your product, but they're always subconsciously asking this question. If they feel like they're not using it to its full potential, or if they're unaware of key features, they are a churn risk, plain and simple. And getting retention right is probably the single most powerful growth lever you have. I mean, why? Because the numbers don't lie. Repeat customers spend a whopping 67% more than new ones. So when you lose a customer, you're not just losing one subscription payment. You're losing all that future growth. And finally, we get to the holy grail, referral. This is the question that every truly happy customer eventually asks themselves. You have to remember, recommending something is a social act. They're only going to do it if you make them look smart and helpful to their friends and colleagues. And this is the ultimate prize. As this quote puts it so perfectly, when you get this entire customer-centric journey right, you don't just have customers anymore. You have a powerhouse. You have an army of advocates doing your marketing for you, feeding new, high-trust leads right back into the top of your funnel. It's a beautiful thing. So I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. Go back and look at every piece of your marketing, every ad, every email, every web page, and ask yourself honestly, is this built to make my company's process easier, or is it built to solve my customer's problem? The answer will tell you everything you need to do next.